Next guest is Michael Meyers of the New York Civil Rights Coalition to talk about some of the reaction in the black community to the NAACP's recent announcement that it supports gay marriage. Welcome, Mr. Meyers.
Well, thanks for inviting me to be here.
Okay, so the NAACP announced its support of gay marriage within a week or so of President Obama's announcement, yet the organization claims that the timing is pure coincidence. Do you buy that?
No, I regard it as dishonest in so many different ways. It's dishonest in the sense that we know that Julian Bond, the immediate past chairman of the NAACP, chairman emeritus now of the NAACP, announced on TV prior to the board decision that President Obama gave them permission to speak about single-sex, same-sex marriage in ways that they never have done before. So, I mean, you have a confession and admission from the chairman emeritus that the issue was coming for the board only because President Obama's action or decision gave them permission to talk about it. Number two, it's dishonest in the sense that when they did when they made the decision, they distorted the NAACP's constitution, bylaws. They misquoted it. They used ellipses to suggest that the NAACP was in the business of ensuring the political, economic, social, educational advancement of all people, when that's not what the Constitution and bylaws of the NAACP says.
And it's interesting, some members of the group are taking exception to the leadership doing that. The Amsterdam News, a black newspaper here in New York, had an article, was it over the weekend, I believe, and quoting a minister who said, the NAACP has abandoned its historic responsibility to speak for and safeguard the civil rights movement. We who marched with Reverend King did not march 1 inch or 1 mile to promote same-sex marriage. So it sort of gives you an idea how some of the rank and file feel about this decision.
Some of the rank and file, but the NAACP I must tell you, in your views, that it's been a very long course of ignoring the rank and file. It ignored the rank and file when it moved into the camp of Louis Farrakhan, for example. And it also, you have to know that the rank and file can protest, but there's nothing that's why I say the decision, regardless of the merits of the decision, it was hardly nonpartisan, but moreover, it was contemptuous of the membership. It was contemptuous of the membership because in a membership-based organization, there ought to be broad representation, broad consultation, and their annual conventions coming up in July. So they had plenty of time to make a quote-unquote principled decision by consulting with the membership. They did not do that.
Do you think this fits a pattern of the NAACP in recent decades being more interested in advancing the causes of Democrats instead of advancing the causes necessarily of black Americans?
I regard the NAACP as a side arm, an organ of the Democratic Party and the labor unions in this country. Oh yeah, of course, it's an auxiliary of the Democratic Party. Its leadership is Democrat.
And I can name a few issues where that's certainly been the case. On issues like education, for example, their opposition to many forms of school choice, despite the fact that poll after poll shows that low-income blacks support it overwhelmingly. You mentioned the labor unions, and that's directly related to their support for minimum wage laws, which again, studies show harm black employment.
The NAACP is the second arm of the Secret Service when it comes down to protecting Barack Obama, the first African-American president. That's how they see it.
What I also find interesting, and I think speaks to what you're saying, is that it's those members of the NAACP, those active members, the older, church-going members of the group that are most opposed to gay marriage. It makes you wonder, while they would risk ostracizing the most supportive segment of the black community as far as they're concerned. Younger blacks, a lot of them don't have a problem with this issue.
I understand that, but there is no risk here because based on past battles with the leadership of the NAACP, the rank and file have no power. The convention is a cosmetic convention. They don't have policy-making authority. The policy-making authority for the NAACP rests with the 64 members of the National Board. They are the only one. There's no local option. There's no NAACP branch that can disagree. There's no NAACP office that may disagree. If you disagree, then you cannot speak for the NAACP. And so the decision has made it very clear that the leadership has gone in the direction, regardless of the members. The only dissent they can have is either to resign or to try and oust some of the board members that represent them. And that's very difficult in an organization where a personality cult really rules now, not
Okay.
policy and not principle.